Busy night on the North Shore. A standing room only crowd filing into PNC Park as the Pirates get set to take on the Chicago Cubs in Game 2 of this 4-game series. National League Central Division standings has the Pirates on top, 85-61, tied with the St. Louis Cardinals, with the Cincinnati Reds in third place, 2.5 back. Hi again, everyone, with Steve Blass. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Ince-Mikowski joins us in a little while. The Pirates have won 4 straight, and a big reason for that, Steve, has been the starting pitching.
Pitching in general, starting pitching in particular. Take a look at what these last 4 guys have done. This gives you the reason they've won their last 4 games. Cole, Liriano, Burnett, Jeff Locke, and pay particular attention to the third line down. Earned runs, 0, 1, 5, 1. You have 4 games, you give up 7 earned runs. You should win them all.
Tonight it is Charlie Morton's turn. The right-hander takes the hill. Last time out against St. Louis, experienced discomfort in his left foot. Only lasted an inning and 2/3, but he's been pretty good other than that.
He really has, and those previous 6 starts, a 1.74 ERA, 81.6% ground balls. That's his game. That one complete game for Charlie, that was his shutout. So we hope he takes a page out of Jeff Locke's book from last night. Keep the ball downstairs, Charlie, you'll be fine.
Charlie Morton opposing the Cubs' Jake Arrieta. Pirates throwing around a little leather last night in defending their home turf. Justin Morneau with an exceptional play. Jordy Mercer, perhaps his best play as a Major League shortstop. And Andrew McCutcheon with an MVP-like effort. Pirates and Cubs, Game 2 coming up from PNC Park.
It's Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
And more great shots of the defensive plays last night that helped the Pirates to win. Colors have been flying all evening here on the North Shore, as all kinds of fans are showing their different ways of appreciating this winning Pirates team. And here is Charlie Morton, ground chuck taking the hill. Fans fans standing as the team takes the field, which was something they did last night, a goosebumps kind of moment. Doing it again here tonight.
Absolutely. What a way to welcome this ball club home after breaking the curse, the Three Rivers curse of winning seasons. It's going to be a winning season. And Tim, consider this. In spring training, if we would have set a total of 85 wins, would you take it? We all would have taken it. We've got 85 now with 15 to go. How about that?
I think so, and even a chance to get 90 before the end of the homestand. So we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, 85 wins, great. Let's take a look at the Chevy numbers for Charlie Morton.
Yep, start number 17. He's been kind of Jekyll and Hyde against the Chicago Cubs career-wise, an ERA over 5.5, but his one gem, his career shutout, was against these Cubbies. But prior to last outing against the St. Louis Cardinals, he has been absolutely terrific. So we're going to see a lot of deliveries downstairs, a lot of ground balls. Keep that defense going that we saw last night. That was really a tightly defensively played game by the Bucks.
Here's the lineup Charlie Morton will face tonight, written up by Dale Swaim. Starlin Castro leading off. Valbuena at third base. Rizzo, Navarro, the switch hitting catcher. Sherholtz, Ryan Sweeney in center field. Bogusevic. And then Darwin Barney down in the 8th spot. .299 career hitter against the Pirates. And Jake Arrieta, the pitcher, bats 9th. There is Starlin Castro having a sub-Starlin Castro kind of year, just hitting .241. He's used to hitting up around 300 or better. But just .241 for Castro, and he gets set to face Morton to start off this ball game.
Yep, and Mr. Castro and the rest of the Cubs better not think about digging in too much against Charlie Morton. He leads the National League in hit batsmen. So he protects his pitching room, and we'll see how he fares in career start number 8 against the Cubbies.
Castro went 1 for 4 in last night's game. He takes a strike, and we are underway. More autumn-like weather, Steve.
All of a sudden, absolutely.
59 degrees, the game time temperature tonight.
Yeah, it's not going to get any higher either. They're talking like mid-40s by the time we get through.
Guys, the sweatshirts on, a little bit more bundled up. Jeff Locke last night had a very good outing.
A bunch of hoods in the Pirate dugout.
Well, the equipment will be turning to jackets shortly.
Great time of year. Great time of year.
And
well, you know what this guy's going to be doing in December.
Yeah, he's just making an early appearance. Castro, did he go? Yes, he did. And home plate umpire Doug Eddings said that Castro offered, and that was a strikeout to start the ball game.
Downstairs again for Charlie. The breaking ball. No, right there. I'm going to ring you up. You don't have to appeal anything. Doug Eddings working the plate. Crew chief Dana DeMuth at first, and Estabrook and Nauert.
This is Luis Valbuena. Didn't play last night. He will start against right-handed pitchers for the Cubs. Donnie Murphy was in there last night, a right-handed hitter against the lefty Locke. 1 ball and 1 strike to Valbuena. Dale Swaim, the former Pirate, former coach in the Pirate system.
Busy
the Cubs.
Busy night in the bottom of the 8th inning. There's a pitch in for a strike. Charlie looks like he's on a mission tonight.
I think Charlie definitely knows he needs a bounce back from that inning and 2/3 against St. Louis. 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Charlie rejoined the team in Texas after that trip back to Pittsburgh to have his left foot examined. He came right back to Texas and had a session where he played catch on flat ground before throwing aside the next day. I had a conversation about it. He said he felt fine. He said at that point, this was on Tuesday, Steve, he said that he would be ready to start Friday. There'd be no question. He was on schedule to do so. Pirates waited a few days before they would make that announcement that he would definitely start. But talking to Clint Hurdle today, as an insurance policy, the Pirates do have Brandon Compton prepared and ready to go in case Charlie doesn't go very long. 2-2 pitch. Now the count is full, 3-2.
And I didn't hear one mention of the movie My Left Foot as a result of that injury.
Not one mention.
Not one mention.
Well, it happened when he went to cover home plate. Pushed off the low slope of the mound and felt a twinge. Ball 4. That pitch inside. 1 out and 1 on for Chicago in the first.
Yep, and that's you push off with your right foot, but then that step down with the left foot, I guess, is when the discomfort showed up for Charlie.
And when the trainer Todd Thompson came out in St. Louis, and then you saw pitching coach Ray Searage went out first, and then you're starting to think, well, this is a guy just coming off surgery. You hope it's not what would be the worst case scenario, and it wasn't. That's to short left field, and that ball's foul.
Well, at least you can't blame it on turf toe. We're playing on the natural stuff.
No balls and 1 strike to Anthony Rizzo. And with the shift, look how far Pedro Alvarez had to run to make an attempt. Now, if he's playing his normal position, he's got a shot.
Yep.
Probably makes that catch easily, but the Pirates shifting for the left-handed hitter Rizzo. No balls and 1 strike to Rizzo. A little low, 1-1. Before the first pitch, watch what Charlie does stretching out his foot. Just working on the left foot and the right one, making sure they're okay.
And that's almost kind of like a calf exercise. I mean, getting the muscles as much in the calf as the foot.
1-1 in the air to center field, and going back is McCutcheon. On the track, makes the catch. And the throw right to Walker. From the track in the air to Walker's glove.
And that's fun. Every outfielder loves to do that. That's fun. You can just air it out. You know he's not going anywhere. Just have yourself a little fun stretching your arm out. You know, Andrew's got it measured all the way. Okay, we're going to catch this ball. Watch this, folks. Yeah.
Two down, Valbuena the runner at first base, and the cleanup man, catcher Deanna Navarro. Navarro batting left-handed, takes Sloan in.
And Tim, early in the ball game, balls that are hit like that, you watch and you kind of wait, because you never know from one night to the next what the carry factor is going to be. We've seen balls hit like that get up in the shrubbery, to be quite honest. Other nights it dies on the track.
Well, with the air getting a little more crisp now as we get later into September, what kind of effect does that have?
Oh, I've heard all kind of theories that when it's humid and the air is heavy, the ball will travel better. I'm not sure. My theory has always been wait till the end of the first inning, see what you can figure out.
First, Valbuena back.
One of the interesting things, the one thing I remember about Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati was when the wind seemed to be blowing over left field, blowing straight in. They said it would blow straight in, and the back of home plate part of the stadium would catch it, kind of work it down, and push the ball back out. And so the ball would carry, even though it looked like the wind was coming in.
Well, that's what we just experienced in Arlington, Texas. The way their stadium is constructed, the flag's blowing one way, the ball carries the opposite way. The curveball here from Morton.
How many pitches have we seen thrown by Pirate pitchers get a swing and a miss over the top of pitchers downstairs below the strike zone? It has been a continual parade of swings and misses of deliveries by Buck pitchers that have been missed by the opponents.
2 balls, 2 strikes now to Navarro. Charlie tried to come low and in again.
If I had to pick out a word to describe Pirate pitching overall, for the most part this year, I would say downstairs. I mean, I've just seen so many swings and misses on deliveries by Pirate pitchers, including Mr. Burnett there, and Liriano, of course, Jeff Locke last night. I really think most of Jeff's success last night was by the fact he kept the ball down.
2-2, swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Navarro. Charlie strikes out 2. Go through half an inning, Cubs nothing, and the Pirates coming to bat. Pirates continue their quest for Bucktober. Jose Tabata gets set to lead off for the Pirates. Take a look at the Pirates lineup. It is brought to us by Toyota. Tabata at the top of the order, then Neil Walker. Andrew McCutchen this season at home hitting .354, 36 extra base hits. He's driven in 43 here. Morneau in the cleanup spot. Alvarez 5th, Martin 6th. Garrett Jones playing right field tonight. Marlon Byrd the night off. Clint Barmas bats 8th, and Charlie Morton batting 9th, looking for his 5th hit. And he'll face right-hander Jake Arrieta, the former Baltimore Oriole.
Yep, came over from the Birds July 2nd. Start number 7 for the Cubbies. He's 2-2 with an ERA of about 4.5. Last year, start of the 2012 season, he was the Baltimore Orioles opening day starter. Won 10 games several years ago.
It's not often you see an opening day starter get sent down to the minor leagues during that same season, but that happened to Arrieta. And he spent some time with Iowa in AAA after the trade was made from Baltimore to the Cubs.
27 years old, 6'4", 225, out of Farmington, Missouri. 5th round pick by Baltimore back in 2007.
Jose Tabata takes low ball 1.
Actually, we saw a lot of Arrieta over the last several spring trainings because Baltimore having their training camp in Sarasota, so saw a good bit of this right-hander. He's had some struggles with control. Goes to 2-0 to Tabata. Yeah, 34 innings so far for the Cubs, 20 walks. That's a higher percentage than that he would want to have.
2-0 pitch. 3 balls, no strikes. Arrieta has had a problem with the walk. He's walked 3 or more in 5 of his 6 starts with the Cubs. And a strike to Jose, 3-1.
He's been good against the Pirates. A couple of career starts. He's 2-0.
Jose Tabata in the leadoff spot tonight against the right-hander. Here's Arrieta's 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and the Pirates have a man aboard. Well, for the Cubs tonight in the field, in the outfield, Ryan Bogusevic is the left fielder. Ryan Sweeney in center, Nate Scherholz in right. Valbuena at third, Castro's at short, Barney at second, Rizzo at first with Gianno Navarro catching Arrieta.
And with all the information that goes around, and Dale Swaim certainly has a lot at his disposal, the Pirates will Well, we'll see how patient an approach they take against Arrieta, knowing he has struggled with throwing strikes.
Pitch to Neil Walker is in for a strike.
And that's not a bad thing to consider, but it also can kind of backdoor you. Now, if the guy starts throwing first pitch strikes, bang, you want to wait around, extend an at bat, well, you might be in trouble. You might be behind in the count.
See where Valbuena is lined up in the hole at third base. Castro playing Walker up the middle, and Walker hammers this one deep to right center field, and Sherholtz on the track makes the catch. Neil got a hold of it, but the ballpark held it, and there's one long out.
Needed to pull it just a little bit more, and he's got action against the National League scoreboard. But, far enough out toward right center field where Sherholtz could get to it. Downstairs, those lefties love to go down, pick that ball back up, and give it a ride.
Now Andrew McCutchen up, and the MVP chance start.
What a sound that must be. Andrew's got a lot of things on his mind right now in terms of concentration, but you not only hear it, you see it.
Yep, some well-dressed young men there. Some brave young men there with the temperature the way it is. McCutchen in 69 career games against the Cubs is hitting .338 against the team from Chicago. And he has reached base in 63 of those 69 games. Climbing the ladder a little bit in the race for the batting title too, hitting .326. The leader, Michael Kadire of Colorado, .334. Chris Johnson just ahead of him at .330. Base hit to left field.
You know, if you hit the ball hard enough, a lot of shifts aren't going to be effective unless that defensive player is lined up exactly where the ball is hit. You hit it hard enough, you got a chance.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo slowing it down for us at home plate. Back to real speed is McCutchen.
Yep.
Gets it into left.
He doesn't hit that ball as hard. Castro's going to get to it. They're going to get a force out.
Justin Morneau, the cleanup man tonight, takes up high for a ball. Morneau did not have a hit last night, but he certainly factored into the game. He reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth inning, ended up scoring what would be the game-winning run when Pedro Alvarez drove him in. But the day before, game 3 in Texas, he went 4 out of 5. Broke an 0 for 15 slump in the process. Morneau spent his entire career with the Twins before coming over to the Pirates. 2 on, 1 out. 2-1.
I had a chance to finally go down and introduce myself to Morneau because he had just been here a day before they went on the road, and I asked him about an old teammate of mine who became a minor league pitching coach for the Twins, Jim Schellenbach, and said, yeah, he knew Shelley. Shelley was around the mid to the late 60s with the Pirates, the major league level.
2-1. Now it's 2-2. Morneau has 17 home runs with the Twins this year. Waiting to see him put one over the Clemente wall.
Yeah, tonight would be a nice night to do that. Arrieta has just given up 3 in his previous 6 starts at the Cubs.
And struck out Morneau. Ball gets away. Runners move up. Morneau's out, 2 down, and now Talbot at third base. McCutchen over at second. And the batter will be Pedro Alvarez.
That breaking ball, that back foot breaking ball. Navarro couldn't find it. Pirate runners find extra bases. Everybody's searching for the ball.
Pass ball charged to Navarro. So Arrieta to face Pedro. That's a strike. National League home run leader Pedro Alvarez. And for the first time, he's in the 90s as far as runs batted in are concerned. He's due to connect on one.
That would jumpstart a crowd that's already been jump-started.
Slow ground ball hit to the right side. That'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. We'll head to the second inning. No score between the Pirates and the Cubs.
Inning. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Well, the Pirates have had great fan support this year, and it's fueled them to a record-setting 46 wins here at PNC Park. That 46 win came last night against the Cubs, setting a new record. And Clint Barmas discussed what has fueled their success at home this season.
These last couple of years playing here in Pittsburgh has made it. It's been a lot of fun, and obviously we had a pretty good team in here as well, which definitely helps. But the support we've had from the fans and the electricity in the stadium, it makes it exciting for us to come home and come out and play in front of a big crowd.
All kinds of records being broken here, Tim and Steve, when you look at the season of 2013 at PNC Park. And another one they can do would be a sellout. They've had 18 sellouts this year. The next one marks 19, which would tie the record set in the opening season of PNC Park at 2001. So that one could go down as well. So what a memorable summer it has been here on the North Shore.
Yeah, and that record could be tied tonight.
Oh, that's going to be a drive-by. That record's going to be history by the end of this homestand.
The end of the weekend.
Big history. Yeah, yeah.
So Nate Sherholtz, the right fielder, fouls this pitch off from Morton. No balls and 2 strikes. You see the crowd, they're still filing in. There's still people coming over the Clemente Bridge and milling around the North Shore, getting into PNC Park.
And this is just building up into the weekend, and that's going to spill over into next week. It is just going to be great here in this yard. It's been great all summer. Just it's been good. It's going to get gooder.
.255 the average for Sherholtz. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
How many times when the guys miss, they're missing down in the dirt now. They're not missing up in that hitting area.
Well, one thing I remember in spring training, the bullpen, seeing this drill done last year, the Ray Searich had done it. They had a string mechanism set up in front of home plate that was pretty low. It would represent where batters' knees might be, and the pitchers were throwing them in below that line all the time.
And there was extra work by the catchers too, blocking balls all spring training, 6-7 weeks of that. Guys every day on that catching squad, the catching staff, taking those shots down in the dirt, spending a lot of time in that hot sun blocking balls. It's not much fun, but it helps. It's good for them.
Charlie's got a full count on Sherholtz. Nobody out. Top of the second. Charlie's walked his second man. This time it's the leadoff man. Never the guy you want to walk. So Sherholtz aboard. Ryan Sweeney will come up. Sherholtz takes his place on the back.
Yep, that's the bad news. The leadoff walk. The good news, everybody's a double play candidate with Charlie out there.
Ryan Sweeney had some injury problems this year. Takes a strike. Sweeney was activated from the 60-day DL on September 1st when they played the Phillies. He had a left rib fracture. Broke his rib in Seattle. And he ran into a wall in June there. No balls and 1 strike to Sweeney. Throw to first and Sherholtz back. Sherholtz has 6 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 3 times.
The Cubbies don't run a whole lot. They've stolen 60 bases, but I think their leading man has 8.
That would be Castro. There goes Sherholtz in the bunt, placed down in front of the mound. Morton throws out Sweeney. So the Cubs start the runner, and Sweeney lays down the bunt. And a runner at second and 1 out.
Well, Dale Swain playing it tight early. And we get an early run, an early lead.
You don't normally see the runner starting in a situation like that.
No. Many times it's a hit and run, not a bunt and run.
You're going to bunt him over. You're going to bunt him over. But Sherholtz got the head start. Here's Bogusevic, former Houston Astro. 1 ball and no strikes to Bogusevic. 275 for the Cubs.
You need to get a guy named last name Bacall. Bogey and Bacall. Got to work that program.
Strike call to him. Strike Bacall.
Yeah. There you go.
Bogusevic has averaged 1 RBI every 7.8 at bats. So he's been able to drive in runs when he's had the opportunity.
Charlie pulled the string on that one, kind of had him jumping and deciding at the last possible moment to, okay, I'm going to swing. Okay, the hesitation, then the swing, and it really messes up the whole approach as a hitter.
Runner at second, 1 out. 1-2, loop to left field. And Tabata is not going to make the play. Keeps it in front of him.
Yeah, Sherholtz got over to third base, and then they had to hesitate. Couldn't send him.
Bogusevic with a base hit. Tabata needs to replace a divot out there.
Yeah, and this was one of those things where you kind of get caught in between, and he did a nice job of getting the glove on the ball, though it was an in-between kind of situation. Yeah, he's not even looking. He's got the glove in the right spot. That's good fortune.
Well, a lucky play on Friday the 13th. Darwin Barney with runners at the corners. And Barney offered to bunt. That's a strike. Not a lucky night for the Cubs on Friday the 13th. He's got his Black Pirates Jason mask from the Friday the 13th movies. Have you seen all those, Steve?
Not one. I don't like scary movies. I like the parody scary movie. the other ones, I buy a ticket and then hold my hand over my eyes. Full moon, about a week or so.
Be a harvest moon that time.
It feels like it.
That is certainly a picture worth having. It's going to be a wallpaper on a computer or something. On a phone. Quite a backdrop. 2 balls and a strike to Darwin Barney. He's hitting just .214. Barney hitting the 2 spot last night. Ended up going 0 for 4. Struck out in the 9th, but reached on a wild pitch on strike 3. Nothing came of it. 2-1. Little chopper to short. Flip to second for 1. Walk with a turn, too late. And the Cubs get a run out of it.
Yep, just wasn't hit hard enough.
The Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Barney safe on the fielder's choice. Bogusevic retired in the middle, 6-4, and Sherholtz comes in to touch home.
Yeah, they got what they could out of it. Kind of cleans it up.
Bogusevic coming after Walker here with a hard slide.
You know you're going to be vulnerable when the ball is hit that softly. Clint Barmas, nothing he could do about getting the ball to Neil Walker any quicker. So Neil has to realize that it's kind of a sitting duck.
Morton now facing his opposite number, Jake Arrieta. Started him off with ball 1. Arrieta is 2 for 10 since joining the Cubs. Well, the first run scored by Chicago. That was the same case in last night's game. Pirates would end up winning 3-1. Strike 2 to Arrieta. Was involved in international baseball, playing World University games for Team USA. He was at TCU and then participated in the Olympic Games the last time they had baseball. Actually was the winning pitcher in a game against China, beating the host country's team in 2008. Two. Down on strikes goes Arrieta. Cubs strike for a run. They get a hit and leave a man. Pirates come to the bat in the second, trailing 1-0.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
1-0 Cubs heading to the bottom of the second inning at PNC Park. Pirates and Cubs game 2. Some news today from Root Sports. They announced a multi-year agreement in which the network will continue to televise an extensive slate of West Virginia University athletics, including a live football game tomorrow against Georgia State at noon, 8 men's basketball games, 12 football press conferences with head coach Dana Holgorsen, and also the opportunity to televise additional football and basketball games, 52 coaches shows, and women's basketball and men's baseball. So it's a wild and wonderful announcement about West Virginia University.
Welcome aboard.
A lot of Pirates fans in that part of the world. Not that it's that far. We're in the Morgantown area. No balls and 2 strikes. Down to basketball game there 2 seasons ago, and talked a lot of Bucks baseball with folks from West Virginia. 1-2. Including head coach Bob Huggins, who was asking me about the Buccos. How are we going to be?
Yep.
They love the Buccos. All the Mountaineers. And Martin down on strikes. There's 1 gone for the Pirates in the second.
Russell's been struggling. Right on that outside corner. Pitcher's pitch. What you can do with that one.
There's Garrett Jones. Jones getting a start in right field.
No, I think all in all, when you take a look at the season's work by the Cubs pitchers, they've done a pretty good job against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pitching standpoint.
Jones pops this one up, shallow left. On comes Bogus 7. And 2 men out quickly. Yuengling Oktoberfest presents Zambelli fireworks after the Bucks host the Cubs tomorrow at 7:05. It's also an Eaton Park scratch and win Saturday, where all fans receive a scratch card good for prizes from Eaton Park. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Another big night scheduled for tomorrow night. Zambelli fireworks after the game, thanks to Yuengling Oktoberfest. 2 outs, nobody on. Clint Barmas the batter. He's taking all the way. That's pretty much a free strike for Arrieta there after the 2 quick outs. Barnes going to take that one. Now the 0-1 pitch. Foul off. 0-2. .223 the average for Clint. 5 home runs. It is 5th on Wednesday in Texas. Hit it off the foul pole down the left field line off of Tanner Scheppers.
Wasn't that the insurance run?
It was a big insurance run. It was. Pirates would win that game by a score of 7-5. That 8th inning home run sealed it for the Bucks. 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The types of games the Pirates played against the Rangers, playoff type games. The way that the wheels were turning all the way throughout as much as they can in an American League style game.
Well, that 1-0 game certainly set the tone for that kind of an approach and that kind of feel.
Valbuena making the catch, and the Pirates gone quietly in the second. We'll head to the third at PNC Park. 1-0 Chicago.
It's NHL Hall of Famer Ken Dryden. 6 Stanley Cup rings as a member of the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, he was their starting goalie. But Ken, you're a big baseball fan. Tell us, what is it that brings you here to Pittsburgh tonight?
Well, Pittsburgh's only about 6 hours from Toronto, and it's really one of our favorite places. We'll come here every couple of years, and just sort of as an excuse to wander around this area, discover Pittsburgh. I remember the last time we were here, after going to the Warhol Museum, we found Andy Warhol's house and realized that Dan Marino's house was a block away, and went to see August Wilson, his house, and discovered that Josh Gibson was born just up the way a little bit. So it's an excuse to discover.
And speaking of discovering, on this trip, you've been to a couple ballparks so far. Where have you been?
Well, we were in Cleveland on Wednesday, and then we go to Detroit on Sunday, and so it's a terrific chance to see 3 games with involving contenders, and they're not contenders in Toronto this year, so it's great to be here.
Now, just off camera a moment ago, we were talking about the fans. What do you feel for the fans of Pittsburgh watching them have a winning season?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's so totally deserved, and to be here in the ballpark, filled park, and you can just feel the anticipation, of it. And the fans here should know that, as I think they do know, there are lots of Pirates fans suddenly this year that are hoping that the Pirates go a long way.
Now, here's a unique story here. Back in 1971, Canadians were Stanley Cup champions, and you won the Lifesaver of the Year award. And with that came a brand new car. Do you know who the guy is that you beat out for that car, Ken?
Well, I just heard, and but Steve Blass. It was Lifesavers had this competition, and it was kind of for those guys that came semi out of nowhere to do something, and so Steve that year with the Pirates, and I was with the Canadians, and it was an MGB GT, and so I really enjoyed driving it, Steve, and sorry you never had the chance.
He doesn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't feel bad about it all, Ken, okay?
I'll try not to.
Okay, thanks for taking some time. It's great to have you here.
Well, it's terrific to be here. Thank you.
There you go, Steve, a man that took your car. How about that?
I can't even pronounce the type of car, but I'm jealous. Please give him my best, because it was a lot of fun going through that. And I knew it was coming, because I know what kind of Cup series that Ken had.
Yep, and Steve just said he couldn't even pronounce the name of the car anyways, so it's all right. Don't worry about it.
He might have had trouble spelling it.
Oh yeah. I think I speak for all of us. He would have had trouble spelling it, trust me.
But it was great watching the Pirates. As I said to you before, watching in Toronto in 1960 and watching that home run that Mazeroski hit, and so totally improbable. And I grew up as a Yankee hater, so at that time I was a Dodgers fan, but it was just the best to see the Yankees lose.
Well, hopefully tonight you'll see a Pirates win. Thank you, Ken.
So, thank you.
There you go, guys.
Well, I tell you, that makes Ken an official Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I mean, that's legit. That is so legit. That was great. What a neat guy. I haven't seen Ken Dryden or heard from him in a lot of years. That's terrific that he's here.
Ever since he stole your car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there are penalties for stealing somebody's car in this country.
Rizzo grounds it to another Canadian. Justin Morneau makes the out. 1, 2, 3, go the Cubs. But the Pirates' magic number at this moment still in single digits at 9. And if the Nats were to lose, they would drop them farther back. And when we talk about the magic number, it's the magic number to clinch a playoff spot. Charlie Morton.
And that's all you want. Get yourself in the dance, and then all bets are off. Postseason play, it's a lot about pitching and defense. The Pirates can compete.
There's the 2-0 from Arrieta. Charlie takes a strike, 2-1. It's great to be talking about a magic number. Been a while.
Yep.
But, and also in single digits, the magic number, 2-1. Charlie fouls it back. And if you want to know about the magic number and how it is figured out, it's used to determine the results needed for a team to clinch a playoff berth. So there's the formula there. Subtract 1 for every Pirates win and every loss by a team to be eliminated. So the Pirates could subtract as many as 2 tonight and knock it down to 7 if they can win here and they get a little help.
Yeah, and the Pirates have won 4 in a row. And you know what? If you keep winning, you're going to be all right, regardless of formulas. The single numbers look good.
Remember, it can never go up. It can only go down. 163 minus Pirates wins minus trailing team losses.
I remember back in the day when over at the Clark Bar building, which still exists, I used to drive across the Duquesne Bridge, and they would have it up against the wall in a big letter. You'd drive across the bridge and you knew what your number was every night going to the ballpark.
Charlie hanging in there. Ball back to the screen for Morton. Charlie with 4 hits on the season, looking for another. Morton leading off the Pirates half of the 3rd inning. Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Payoff pitch from Arrieta. Charlie to right field down the line, and he's going to tail into the seats.
Yeah, you want to get your leadoff man on, but I don't know how much base running you want Charlie to do. That wheel situation. Left foot, right foot.
Here comes the 3-2 again. And Morton's right on.
Nothing to work. Get Charlie on there, let him steal a base.
So this will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up. These pitchers enjoying what they're seeing. They know Charlie's working Arrieta right now. And there'll be an 11th pitch.
This is Marlon Byrd type stuff.
What, a 14 pitch at bat?
Crazy, yeah.
Marlon with the night off tonight. He's been very good since arriving on the scene. Not much room left in that grid.
It's like a pitch salad.
Right back to Arrieta. 1 out. And listen to the fans as they understand what Charlie just did. Morton just took 11 pitches off Arrieta's pitch total. Jose Tabado now will come up. He walked his first time up.
Richie Ashburn's type stuff. Richie used to foul all those pitches off.
No balls and 1 strike to Jose Tabado. It's 0-2. Stay warm. Cool evening at PNC Park. It's a lot of work swinging at all those pitches.
Yeah, hard to get your hoodie back on.
It's like batting practice. 1-2.
There's an outfit. That's warm. That outfit right there.
1-2 pitch. And he went around.
Yeah,
So
sure did.
Damon Demuth.
Sure did.
First base umpire rings him up on appeal. 2 men out. Time to take a look at tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. Starling Marte took batting practice outside today. Doesn't look all that comfortable. Still shaking the right hand. He's been able to pinch run. He's been able to play defense, but the hitting aspect of things is not quite there yet. And one of the things that Clint Hurdle talked about today is that they might try to create another scenario for him where they can get some live pitching against him, but they don't want to use any of the guys in the bullpen, obviously, so they might bring in a minor leaguer or two to throw real BP for Starling Marte, trying to have another simulated type game for him. As yesterday he hit in the Wandy Rodriguez simulated game. Marte still having a problem with the bat.
Well, these are lingering things with Marte and Rodriguez.
Wandy Rodriguez
lingering and then some.
Yeah, Pirates are still trying to determine what the next step will be for Wandy. 1-1. That's in there for a strike. 1-2. Rodriguez did pitch a simulated game yesterday. 4 innings and 59 pitches, I believe it was. One-two. Walker fouls it off. Correction on those numbers. It was 5 innings and 67 pitches for Wandy Rodriguez. Pirates are hoping they were hoping they'd be able to use him at some point this year, but still no definitive word.
Early June, huh? Started.
Toward the left field corner. Slices foul. But for Marte, when the coaches throw batting practice, it's 55, 60 miles an hour. It's different than having a guy throw 85, 90 miles an hour. So they want to try to replicate game speed for Marte, swinging the bat against some live pitching. They might have to use a bullpen guy if they can't get some guys from the minor league. Walker down on strikes. Pirates gone in order for the second straight inning. Head to the fourth, 1-0 Chicago.
Sports is brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit pghkiadealers.com. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Good night for a knit cap. And some cotton candy. I don't think Bob would approve of the blue cotton candy, though. But what about the pirate parrot-colored beard?
I'm not sure.
Matches the hat.
Not sure about that either.
Well, you own one of those. I've seen you in one of those.
It was a rental.
That beard's not.
No.
Fourth inning, 1-0 Cubs. Navarro swing and a miss. Strike one to the Cubs catcher. .301 the average for Navarro. And he rips this one into right field. That ball is going to be off the wall. Played by Jones. Navarro will be held at first.
Well, you turn your back and you wait for what you hope is going to be a bounce back at you. A lot of different surfaces out there. That one quickly back to Garrett, and they hold him.
Now watch Navarro. We can see him at the end of this too.
He has hit very well against the Pirates. Continues it right there off that chain link fence.
Real speed.
Got a lot of it.
Watch Navarro. Just missed it, but the train went to a quick stop out around first base. There he comes.
That's like the movies when you see the train, the wheels reverse themselves.
Jones playing the carom rather well.
Yep. Fortunately, he didn't get under that ball. He certainly hit it well enough to get it far enough. Got some height.
Right fielders here will tell you have to leave yourself some room when a ball hit over your head because you don't know if it's going to bounce back or if it's going to just drop straight down. And the easiest thing is to play it as though you can just go pick it up. Marlon Byrd knows that, and
every once in a while
we talked about that a little while ago.
You can get trapped too out there. There are some support beams where it'll take off. You get close to the wall and you'll have to chase it for a while. The Clemente wall.
Navarro is the runner at first base, nobody out. 2-1 to Sherholtz. Strike call, 2-2. Sherholtz has scored the game's only run. Walked to lead off the inning. Remember when Charlie walked him? Don't want to walk those leadoff guys. It turned into trouble, and it did indeed. 3-2 now.
Trying to get the feel of that changeup, off-speed pitch. Out in front of that one, about to get out in front. Tough to have the arm get back coordinated with the body when you're that far out in front.
Brian Sweeney on deck. Payoff pitch, he got it. Sherholtz down on strikes.
Number 4 for Charlie.
One out for the Cubs.
Down and in, and probably not going to get that call. Don't need it.
Here's the pitch to Sweeney. Low for ball 1. Sweeney put down a sacrifice bunt with Sherholtz running. Back in the second. Like the same spot, 2-0. Pair it up to some hijinks. Let's get on the end of that. It's like a bumblebee. Using the bumblebee for bait. To center field and deep. McCutchen on the run, and he will track it down.
The early speed.
The read of the ball off the bat winds up being routine. Looks like it's going to be a real challenge when it starts to drip out to center field, but it's heading toward the wrong person. That ball's tattooed. But we got Andrew out there.
Third put out tonight for McCutchen. Sweeney now 0 for 1. Brian Bogusevic had a flare of a base hit to left field first time up. This one's hit better. McCutchen on the run. McCutchen to the track, to the wall. It is gone. A 2-run home run for Brian Bogusevic. His 5th home run of the season. And now the Cubs lead it 3-0.
And that's the only way you can beat Andrew in center field. That one's up in the wheelhouse, up out over the plate. Charlie knows it. Body language right there. Charlie Morton knows that he is in trouble.
Barney fouls off the first pitch. Strike 1 to Barney. He's trying to make his own ladder here. Not going to get that one.
No chance. In the middle of the S in Pirates.
Oh, 0-2 to Darwin Barney. 2-run home run for Bogusevic, his 14th and 15th runs batted in. And home run number 5 for him. One and 2 to Barney.
Yep, Charlie doesn't give up many. But those sinker ball guys, when they come upstairs, if it's set up, you know, you can get away with it at times, properly set up. You can throw the ball upstairs. You can't make a lifestyle out of it. It's not your strength unless it is properly set up.
Hitters will tell you they're looking for it up. Up in the strike zone, but they don't want to see a pitch that's a high strike. Not one that's above the zone that you chase, but one that's up enough in the zone you can get the barrel to it. That's what Bogusevic did. 2-2 to Darwin Barney. Bogusevic puts a little separation between the Cubs and Pirates. Still early though, just the top of the 4th. The Pirates need to figure out Jake Arrieta. They have just 1 hit off of the Cubs right-handed. This one's to right field, well hit. Jones will catch up to it. And the side is retired. 2 runs, 2 hits. Bogusevic the home run. 3-0 Cubs. better.
He's working.
Well, season tickets are pretty good too. You can put a deposit down for next year's season tickets, full season to half of 20-game plans. There's always a plan that's right for you, and you can enjoy great benefits all season long, ice cream not included. To place your deposit, go to pirates.com/deposit.
You can check out the all-you-can-eat seats. Get involved.
And the ice cream's included. Yep, that's right. Andrew McCutchen has the only Pirate hit tonight. Pirates have to get something going here against Arrieta. 27-year-old right-hander makes his home now in El Dorado Hills, California. 2-0 against the Pirates and 2 career starts, both with Baltimore. Pitch to McCutchen. And he lines one right to Castro.
Operative word, lines.
Not going to get a quicker out than that.
3 quick ones in the bottom of the third, so he's on an efficient roll right now. Last time out, the Brewers knocked him around, but the start before that, very good work into the 7th inning against the Philadelphia Phillies for Jake Arrieta.
Arrieta's retired 9 straight since McCutchen's single in the first. AT&T tweet, what's the win-loss Friday the 13th games for the Bucks? What's the record on Friday the 13th all time? That's funny you ask. The record is 46-46 all time on Friday the 13th.
So are you lucky or unlucky?
But the Pirates have been unlucky over the last 10 years on Friday the 13th. The last 10 Friday the 13th, they are 0-10. They're on a 10-game losing skid. Unlucky on Friday the 13th for the last decade.
Indeed.
Not a lucky night for the Cubs, according to that young man up there.
Well, things got to change, huh? Simple as that.
Yeah, still lots of time to change. Justin Morneau 0 for 1, struck out first time up. Arrieta delivers 2-1. Morneau fouls it back. Morneau made his Pirate debut on the 1st of September. In St. Louis, he went 1 for 3 that night. Stays 2-2. He got here just in time. He's eligible for the postseason. Last month of August, Morneau had one of the best home run totals in baseball. He had 9 of them. 3rd best home run total in the game for the month of August. The guys ahead of him were Alfonso Soriano of the Yankees and Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers. They had 11 each.
I think Mr. Soriano's found a home in New York.
That started really working for him when he got there.
Lit it up immediately upon arrival.
2-2. Morneau making Arrieta work.
Put his Yankee total together with the Cubs, talking about a pretty substantial year for Mr. Soriano.
2 balls and 2 strikes. This one fouled off again. Nobody's going to catch Chris Davis of Baltimore, though. 49 home runs to lead the world.
This is another extended at bat.
So double digits at bat for Morneau here. Arrieta this year has been able to hold lefties to a .212 average.
Good take by Justin there. I've got to get used to saying Morneau, not Morneau. For years, whenever I came across that name, Morneau, no, Morneau, it's the preference.
Second Pirate tonight to have at least an 11 pitch at bat. Charlie Morton was the other. This one will go to a dozen. Charlie worked Arrieta for 11 pitches in the third inning. This will be the 60th pitch for Arrieta. And the comeback finishes the same way the Morton at bat did. 1-3 the put out.
Naked eye, I thought that was a line drive initially.
Sometimes from this distance,
yeah,
ground balls look that way.
He's not going to throw it over to first base.
Pedro's 0 for 1.
Get us on the board, Pedro.
Thinking 1 to Alvarez. They'll ground it out to Rizzo, the first baseman. First time up. 1-1. Chance of let's go Pedro we hear now for Pedro Alvarez. We heard some in Texas on Wednesday, and then they started to crescendo into let's go Rangers. Some of the Rangers fans picked up on it. They didn't want to be drowned out by the Pirate contingent that was there. Here comes the 2-1 from Jake Arrieta. Nope, he'll step off. Get a new set of signs from Dion Navarro.
Looks like they're getting themselves underway in St. Louis. Mariners, Cardinals.
Alvarez hits a towering fly ball to deep right center field. Ball is carrying. This ball is off the top of the wall. Alvarez around third. He is heading around third. Here comes Pedro to the plate. El Toro strikes for an inside the park home run. His National League leading 33rd homer.
One swing of the bat will get you on the board. Towering shot. Towering.
Let's see if this is touched by a fan. Is it over the wall? It might have been over the wall.
It looks to be the case.
But second base umpire Mike Estabrook went out, held an arm to each side, like a safe sign almost, indicating the ball was live and in play. And Russell Martin hammers one deep to left field. Back-to-back jacks. It's a one-run game as Russell Martin hits his 14th of the year.
Strike up the band. Wow. Talk about lighting over 35,000 fans up. Ignition. Alvarez, Martin, and Russell gets a lot of this. Leave the batter's box kind of a little skip and a jump, you know it's gone.
Look at these fans, they love it. Garrett Jones.
They're making a party.
This is Pedro's on the Allegheny Health Network Super Mode. Was it going out or not?
I think so. I think it was out of here. But it was fun seeing Pedro go around the bases.
And now this one is deep to center field.
Yeah, let's make it a party.
The hat trick. Back to back to back. It is a tie game.
Pirates have taken over this city.
That's the 11th career home run Jones has had against the Cubs. And his 14th of the season. 2-out lightning on the North Shore.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little time out here from the pitching standpoint of the Cubs. Electricity. No doubt.
What a moment. What a moment.
I'll tell you, if you bought a ticket for this one, you're going to remember it for a long time. A long, long, long ball time.
First time since 2003 the Pirates have hit back-to-back-to-back home runs in a game. You don't see it often, but you saw it tonight. Not a lucky night for the Cubs, but the Pirates enjoying some right now. Fans want another one.
Come on, Clint. No law against it.
And also, keep in mind, Steve, those 3 home runs were hit on the first, or not the first, but only on 4 pitches thrown. Those 3 batters had 4 pitches among them.
And this all happened after 2 outs. 2 quick outs. Line drive by McCutchen. Bounce out to the pitcher. Bang, bang, bang.
The last 3 Pirates to hit 3 in a row and have a tic-tac-toe inning. Jason Kendall, Brian Giles, Reggie Sanders, August 20th at St. Louis in 2003.
Pretty special night in Pittsburgh.
And ironically, in the way it'll be scored, ironically, the National League's home run leader, Pedro Alvarez, starts it all with an inside the park home run. Three-two pitch to Barman. He goes down swinging, but what an inning for the Pirates. An ovation. Everybody's on their feet at PNC Park. Back to back to back. It's a 3-3 ball game. The fourth inning for the Pirates. Russell Martin, Garrett Jones, Pedro Alvarez. First time the Pirates have had 3 straight home runs in an inning at home since July 6, 1955 against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Updating the Barrel Automotive League leader stat. National League home run leader Pedro Alvarez now 33. Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona with 31. Jay Bruce of Cincinnati with 29. Barrel, we're driven to be better. And the Pirates driving the ball out of here. Alvarez, the inside the park home run. Just some names from the past, Steve. Jerry Lynch, Frank Thomas, Dale Long, 1955. Did it back to back to back against the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was the last time the Pirates have done that at home.
Magical moment on Friday night. Free T-shirts, free home runs.
I still think it's amazing that it was done on just 4 pitches. Pitcher Jake Arrieta leads off, and he might be a little shell-shocked.
And they got longer as they went around. The inside the park home run, then shot to left, and then Garrett Jones just crushed it.
Pirates have had back-to-back home runs a couple of times this year, but first time for 3 in a row. Full count to Arrieta. Certainly Charlie does not want to walk the leadoff man again. Last time he did that, the run came around to score. That was in the second inning. And he walked Sherholz.
You just love to put up a 0 right now after the electricity. That was like a lightning bolt. That was like an electrical storm that moved through the city of Pittsburgh.
And the crowd's still buzzing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's an escalation of electricity.
Strike 3. Down on strikes for the second time tonight is Arrieta. And down for Chicago. Back to the top of the order for the Cubs. Shortstop Starlin Castro. He's 0 for 2. Jay Bell visiting with AAA manager Dean Traynor, who's here tonight. Season over for the Indianapolis Indians, so once the minor league season ends, start to see the AAA coaches around, some of the other minor league coaches and instructors. Strike 2 to Castro.
He's had a couple of those situations where he's tried to hold up. Pirates have said, no thanks.
Fouled off down the third baseline. Well, the Pirates have hit 3 home runs in the same inning this season. 2 other times, but not consecutively. 19th of July at Cincinnati and the 25th of June at Seattle. But there are other batters who did other things in between. But it's special when you see him in a row like that. Pedro's first home run since the 27th of August against Milwaukee.
And had to work for it.
Garrett Jones first since the 30th of August against St. Louis. And a base hit on a 2-strike pitch. And Castro is aboard with 1 out. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years. Keep up with the pennant races and catch the rest of the season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV today. It's a must-have as you're heading down the stretch. If you don't already have it.
I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I can't get enough of seeing these kids at this ballpark. I can't get enough of that. You know, and throughout the years, there have always been kids at the ballpark. But this atmosphere this year, they're getting a look at some great energy and great feel. Great to see.
Throw to first, and Castro's back.
They're seeing their buckos. They're caught up in it. I think they're getting a taste of how good it can be. Good stuff.
Outside to Valbuena. We're talking about good stuff too. The Milwaukee Brewers are out to a 2-0 lead in the first inning over Cincinnati. Seattle and the Cardinals are scoreless in St. Louis in the second. Washington ahead of Philadelphia 3-1 in the ninth. This one drilled deep center field. McCutchen to the wall, and he'll make the catch.
So far this night heading in the Pirates' direction after kind of a slow start, but the power storm has come through. And you're starting to wonder every ball that leaves the bat now, how far is it going to go?
In front of the bottle, Valbuena knows he came up just a little short. 2 men out, and the batter is Anthony Rizzo. Third man in Dale Swain's order is 0 for 2. He hit one deep to center field his first time up.
We got to start
caught by McCutchen.
We got to start keeping track of how many times during the course of a homestand we said he was able to catch up to that ball in front of the bottle.
Well, it's appropriate that that bottle is out there.
Sure. They didn't catch up to the ball that Garrett Jones hit.
No strikes. Russell Martin didn't catch this one very cleanly. He blocked it more than he caught it.
All right, Charlie, put up a 0 here in the top of the fifth. That would fit perfectly with what's been going on.
Strike to Rizzo. Second of 4 with the Cubs. The Padres coming in after Chicago. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the homestand will continue with 3 against Cincinnati next weekend. And we anticipate great atmosphere here at PNC Park for this entire homestand, the final one of the regular season.
I'm just almost looking at a string of sellouts. I don't know if it's going to happen, but the potential is there for sure.
Well, we realize the Padres are in on school nights, but make an exception.
Yep. Well, you're seeing that tonight for sure. All the kids are seeing. You know, it's become a season where the opponents are secondary. People are coming to see the Pirates.
Full count on Rizzo.
There's a few households say we're going to go see the Pirates tonight. Well, who are they playing? Not sure. We're going to go see the Pirates tonight.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
See the Buccos.
Payoff pitch. Runner goes, and it's fouled off. Castro will head back to first base. Pirates fans tonight need to be Milwaukee fans and especially Seattle fans. Pirates tied with the Cardinals for first place in the division. To left field, down the line toward the corner. Tabata on the run, on the track. Oh, makes the catch. Fine running catch by Jose Tabata. And Charlie puts up a 0 as we are halfway through the fifth.
For the Pirates, you look at that sign right there, R.I.P. Irene. That is in memory of Irene DeLong, who passed away at 89 years of age back on Saturday, September 7th. She's from Hazelwood and a lifelong Pirates fan. With over 5,000 games attended since 1947, a season ticket holder since 1971. Left us far too soon, and we certainly wish she was still here with us to watch the Pirates make a stretch run here down in 2013. That is a seat where Irene would be sitting, and she would have all her photos and Pirates memorabilia sitting right there as she would watch the Buccos. I tweeted a picture of her not too long ago and some flowers there in her memory. So if the DeLong family is watching us, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We hope you're enjoying this in her honor as well, Steve. Or Tim, Steve?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Rob. And I've seen Irene around the ballpark, around the city for years and years and years with her outfits on that had all the Bucco decorations. Just absolutely devoted to this baseball team. And, Irene, your passion for your Buccos will not go away. You made it happen for so many years.
Charlie Morton is all done tonight. 5 innings for Charlie. Andrew Lambo pinch hitting for him. And Lambo behind in the count 0-2 between innings. Clint Hurdle giving him a pat. Charlie all done for the night as Clint tries to stay his positive self. So Charlie won't get a...
Well, he could.
He could if the Pirates get a run and hold the lead, but as it stands right now, he leaves in a tie game. He could get a win out of it. Pirates have to score this inning against Arrieta to do it. Lambo hitting .227. And he goes down on strikes. So 1 down now for the Pirates in the bottom of the 5th. Justin Wilson throwing. And Wilson will probably go just an inning. Kind of been his MO. Pitching single innings, but he has been effective. Pirates did have Brandon Compton prepared in case Charlie would have a short outing, and Clint Hurdle telling me he'd go to Compton for long relief, but Charlie got through 5, so the Pirates will patch it together the rest of the way.
Well, as you look at Clint Hurdle, I've got the back-to-back-to-back home run subject down. We had Ken Dryden here. It is the hockey hat trick, and we got the baseball hat trick. So it just was a matter of time before it happened.
One ball, one strike to Jose. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Average dipped down a few points in recent days to .268. Arrieta's 1-1 pitch. Jose shows bunt. Takes ball 2. Arrieta trying to find a home with these Cubs. And Tabata making it tougher on him as he lines one to right for a base hit. 1-out single for Tabata. The Pirates have a man on.
Slice and dice to right field.
Tabata aboard and at the plate right now for the Bucks. There's the second baseman, Neil Walker. Walker is 0 for 2. Flied out deep to right field in the first. And struck out swinging in the third. Tabata gets back. And picks himself up.
You know, Tim, it must be an art for these guys that can do it so well to have the arms come out and the hands stay back, and they're able to slice the ball to the opposite field. They do it too often to be by accident.
And Walker to right field. Scherholz on the run. He'll make the catch. Guns it back to first. And out is Tabata. Nate Scherholz with a rifle shot to first base. And Tabata called out.
That doesn't feel good.
Jose would like this one back. First base, and really didn't have to be off this far.
No, that's a mistake. It shouldn't happen, but it did.
Well, not a good piece of base running. You make last out on the bases like that.
Yeah, the good news for Jose, didn't have to go back into the dugout. Just wait for somebody to bring him out his glove.
Well, Sherholtz, give him credit, made a good throw, and then Rizzo, good backhanded scoop at the end. And Hurdle on the phone to the bullpen. So who's going to get ready to go next after Wilson? Justin Wilson, the new pitcher, takes over for Charlie Morton. And he will face Deanna Navarro, who turns around about right-handed against the lefty Wilson. Navarro, Sherholtz, and Sweeney due up for the Cubs in the 6th.
Appearance number 55. Very impressive ERA.
Ground ball to Pedro. Wow. And now it's time for the whiff, brought to you by Head and Shoulders, now with Old Spice, and Charlie Morton had 5 whiffs.
Yep, 5. We're going to show you 3 of them. Castro can't help himself. Down. Navarro. Sherholtz. Charlie Morton keeping it together through 5. And it was a very together game, 3-3 as we work here in the 6th.
And Charlie will end up with a no decision in this game tonight. It's just Sherholtz in for a strike.
Well, 5 innings, 3 runs charged to Charlie. Of course, the big one, the 2-run shot by Bogusevic. I would give Charlie good marks. You know, that one pitch, that was the 2-run shot. It happens. It's part of the record, part of the numbers. I thought he did a pretty decent job. And Charlie will be the first one to tell you he would like to have been better.
There's a pitch, and Sherholtz lifts it into shallow center. Here comes Tabata for the catch. 2 men out for Chicago. Justin Wilson gets the first 2. And now he'll face the center fielder, Ryan Sweeney.
Oh, the ball game is turned over to this very accomplished bullpen. We're talking about bullpen ERAs in last night's ball game. Very impressive. especially when you consider the fact that one bad outing can skew it for the whole season. So if you keep it decent, even just decent, means you haven't been lit up.
One ball, one strike to Sweeney.
Everything's going to be okay now. We got the wave going.
Is that what settles things down?
It's like Bob Marley said, everything going to be all right.
Some action in the bullpen now for the Cubs. Young, the right-hander, and Brooks Raley, the lefty. 2-1. Now it's 2-2, and a foul tip into the glove of Martin.
All right, it's September officially now. Got the heater going. Not talking about the fastball either. You got everything you need down in that neighborhood, by the way, down the right field line.
Budweiser bow tie bar.
You got warm, you got cold. Ice cold, Bud.
There's the pitch. Pulled foul. Sweeney
tossed him a bat.
Yeah, broken his back there. So he'll get a new piece of lumber. Come back for a payoff pitch from Wilson.
Budweiser bow tie bar. So you got the ice cold beer, and you got the fireplace going.
Cool weather is perfect practice for hopefully a long October run of baseball.
Yep. I want, after our good interleague play, we were talking about it last night, I want one more interleague series toward the end of October.
Leading up toward Halloween.
Yep.
To center field and a base hit. 2-out single for Sweeney. So the new bat he got had a base hit in it. Yeah, the way that the playoff schedule works right now, Game 7 of the World Series would be on October 31st. It would be on Halloween. But,
well, I'll tell you what, if we play on...
What are you going to dress as?
A pirate. I got a pirate uniform home. I'm going to dress up as a bucko.
Brian Bogus 7. Breaks his bat, hits it to right center. McCutchen on the run. He won't get this one. Cubs are going to have runners at the corners and 2 outs.
That might have been a broken bat also.
It was. A pair of 2-out base hits, and the Cubs now have the go-ahead run at third.
Well, I guess it was. I was thinking more about Halloween. That's a WW. I wasn't watching the contact.
What's left of the bat, the better part of it, ends up in the seats.
Might have been a broken bat.
Yeah, might have been. Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, looking at it.
A series visiting with Justin Wilson. Darwin Barney comes to the plate. 2 on and 2 out. Cubs trying to put something together.
These are always kind of dangerous things. Darwin Barney having a miserable year, hitting .214 coming into the game. So, oh, this should be an easy out. There aren't any.
First pitch coming to Darwin Barney. Strike call. To Barney. Barney tonight 0 for 2. Flying to right last time up and then reached on a fielder's choice in the second inning. Check this swing. Pitch inside. It's 1-1 to Barney.
And you do have the pitcher Arrieta in the on deck circle, but that might be just for show.
A 1-1 pitch. side, 2-1, and Wilson falls behind the Cubs second baseman. Wilson ready on the 2-1 pitch to Barney. Fouled back, evens the count.
It didn't look much like a batting average of 214 swing. Pretty good rip.
See what the young left-hander can come up with now. 3-3 game, top of the 6th. 2 on, 2 out. Russell Martin hung on to the foul tip. Wilson strikes him out. And we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Pirates 3, Cubs 3. Shots telling the story so far. 3-3 through 5.5 innings. Back-to-back home runs for the Pirates in the 4th inning. Alvarez an inside the park home run, and then Martin and Jones 3 home runs on 4 pitches. You look at the bottom of your screen, folks tweeting in about the offensive outburst by the Pirates in the 4th. Back-to-back home runs, and again, it's been a long time since the Pirates have done that at home. 1955, the first game of a doubleheader against the Brooklyn Dodgers, the last time the Pirates hit 3 in a row at home. 0-1 to Andrew McCutchen. Kutch 1 for 2. He singled to left field on the ground in the 1st inning, and then in the 4th, he hit a bullet on the first pitch he saw right to the shortstop, Starlin Castro.
Okay, when you're this hot as Andrew is, you are just turning the bat loose. I mean, he's having just vicious swings at the ball. One more right there.
3rd time around against Arrieta. It's hoping to get to him again.
And you really can afford to almost, without saying overswing, because your timing is so good right now. His timing is excellent. So you can just turn it loose. You can accelerate the swing, I would think. Because the timing is so good, you're not going to start to be flailing all over the place. You're locked in.
And McCutchen hammers one to deep right center field. On the run is Sweeney. He won't get it. It's off the wall. McCutchen will pull in with a leadoff double. 2 for 3 for Kutch.
Nothing new there. A lot of height. Out to that go zone in right center field. I thought that was kind of a warning track kind of a situation. That's what it wound up being. It looked like there's maybe miscommunication there. I was thinking with the height that they had a good chance to catch the ball.
Fans in anticipation. Getting a good look. And McCutcheon is at second base with his 37th double of the season. Dale Swain comes out and asks for the ball from Jake Arrieta. Those kids want Kutch to be the MVP. Arrieta's night comes to a conclusion. Cubs make a pitching change. We'll tell you all about the new Cubs hurler when we come back.
Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Three, bottom of the sixth, nobody out. Andrew McCutcheon's leadoff double chases Jake Arrieta. The autographed quilt. It's got a lot of signatures on that quilt. Those folks have been working hard on that over the years.
That is neat.
Yeah. And so Kutch in scoring position. He represents the go-ahead run. And the left-handed pitcher Brooks Raley makes his fourth appearance for Chicago this season.
6 innings, 4 walks.
Brooks Raley out of Texas.
And the best Arrieta can hope for is a no decision. Andrew scores. He's on the hook. I'm proud to be a Fern. I'm proud to Fern. Sounds like Steve Martin in the jerk. Dear Fern.
All right, Justin Bourne with an RBI chance. Raley will look Kutch back to the bag.
I'm proud to be a Pirates fan. Yeah, he had the sign. Knew what it said.
McCutcheon dancing a little. Kutch with some pretty slick moves on the base pass.
Yeah.
Check him out.
That's a deceptive lead. He's not showing you much, but he's moving.
Popped up and playable for the pitcher Raley. Raley will make the catch. Rizzo was closest to it. Normally you're going to see first baseman or second baseman call him off. Rizzo was playing deep, however. Now the fourth inning, Alvarez hits this one deep to the wall. Here he goes all the way around. This ball is in play. Cubs haven't got it yet.
Look at Nick.
Toro turning on the speed.
Standing up. Inside the Parker, standing up. Like a walk in the park.
33rd home run of the season.
He found somewhat of a different gear between first and second, and it was enough.
And now it's up to Pedro to try to get Kutchin here in the bottom of the 6th and tie this game. Pirates went down 3-0. Watch the footwork of Andrew.
He's not really going anywhere. He's just got the happy feet.
Broken ball in for a strike. Gotta wonder if he's got a tune in his head. He can sing too, you know. Gets it from his mom.
Most MVP candidates can sing.
He's musical. Pedro to the right side. This will get McCutchen to third. And Raley.
Oh, yeah.
They're making a play. Here comes Kutch. Pirates lead.
There it is.
4-3 Buccos.
Are you getting enough Andrew McCutchen tonight? Are you getting enough of Andrew?
The dancing feet of Andrew McCutchen flying around third.
The hustle by Pedro is they don't get the job done. The ball gets on the ground. The minute the ball gets on the ground, it's a run. Oh, a nice little foot mashie by Pedro. Ball's on the ground, and it's over.
All right, look at that immediate acceleration by McCutchen. He was at a standstill at third base and then got into top speed quickly.
There's no penalty in baseball like there is in football for advancing the ball with your foot, which is what Pedro did.
Russell Martin, who is 1 for 2 with a home run. Error charge to the pitcher, Brooks Raley. No RBI. So Pedro back to the bag. 1 out, 1 on. McCutchen's got the happiest feet in the building right now. Fastest and the happiest. 2 balls, no strikes. Martin drove in his 52nd run when he had the middle of the back-to-back home runs in the 4th. Side edge for a strike called, 2-1. It's up 4-3 in the 6th. Alvarez won't get an RBI, but still ended up somehow getting a run home. Down to third. Valbuena. He makes the throw. Martin is out, and Alvarez safe at second.
Yeah, the situation with Alvarez getting to first base on the air, and then after the ball gets on the ground, a little foot contact there to advance the ball.
So Marlon Byrd is going to pinch hit for Garrett Jones. Jones leaves the game 1 for 2 with a home run. And the Pirates certainly interested in the results that Marlon Byrd produces. And so is Dale Swaim, the Cubs manager. He's going to make a change. Brooks Raley is out. And a right-hander will come in to face the right-hander Bird next. WVU programming, including Dana Holgerson's weekly press conference, Mountaineer football, basketball, and other collegiate sports that will air on the network starting this month. Don't miss Root Sports' first live WVU game tomorrow as the Mountaineers host the Georgia State Panthers at Mountaineer Field at Milan Puskar Stadium. It's all part of wild and wonderful sports, and it kicks off live tomorrow at noon on Root Sports. Wild and wonderful here tonight, too. The Pirates now with a 4-3 lead. Andrew McCutcheon, a leadoff double. He came around to score. Carlos Villanueva takes over for Brooks Raley, and the right-hander making his 43rd appearance. He'll face Marlon Byrd, the pinch hitter.
Good in those 42 appearances, 15 starts for Villanueva. By the way, he has given up 14 home runs. I assume most or all of them when he was starting. At least a good portion of them.
They've been waving the colors around here all afternoon, evening. Jolly Rogers. Right now they have helped to create the best atmosphere in the game.
Need any more proof that everybody digs the long ball? Especially when they come in a bunch of three.
Well, Marlon Byrd facing Villanueva. Byrd with an RBI chance with Alvarez at second base. Takes ball one. 27 relief outings for Villanueva. 4-1 in relief with 2 holds. And the Cubs, after spending the last 7 big league seasons with Milwaukee and Toronto. Byrd takes ball 2. Still scoreless in St. Louis between the Cardinals and Seattle. They're in the 4th. And Milwaukee still with a 2-1 lead over Cincinnati. They're in the bottom of the 3rd inning in Milwaukee. Washington is leading Philadelphia 6-1 in the 8th. 2-0. And Byrd will take a strike. Marlon did not start tonight, but he's pinch hitting for Garrett Jones. Jones did okay, 1 for 2 with a home run. Jones normally does well against his home state team, the Chicago Cubs. 2-1 to Marlon Byrd. Stretched by Villanueva and the pitch. 3-1. Having a career year. He spent the offseason south of the border playing after his suspension last year. couldn't get signed, and then decided he would go get his at-bats in Mexico. Spent 4 months there. And it really helped out his game by getting those winter at-bats. Mets gave him a chance this year. Signed him to a team-friendly deal, and then Pirates wanted him at the deadline. And got him. Three and two now. Three balls, 2 strikes to Bird. Full count, 2 down. Kutch led this inning off with a double. And Kutch 2 for 3.
He's always 2 for 3.
That's the way he's got to do it the rest of the way. I mean, very much in the hunt for the batting crown. He's third right now in the National League in that chase. 3-2 to Marlon Bird. And he fouls it off to the right. That'll make the second deck.
And we'll see Andrew at least once more tonight. Let's hope we see him a couple times. That would be good news for everybody.
And McCutchen chasing Michael Kadai of the Rockies and Chris Johnson of the Braves. Just a few points behind each of them.
And he's getting to be the type of player where you don't want to miss anything he does. Watch him wherever he is.
When he's at the plate, you don't want to be at the concession stand or the refrigerator. You want to be watching. Payoff pitch to Bird. A little tapper past the mound, slowly hit. Charging is Castro. He won't make the play. That is ruled a base hit. And Marlon Bird with a pinch hit single. Pirates have runners at the corners and 2 down.
It's just one of those roles that the Pirates are on where a lot of things are going their way. Tough play in the best of circumstances, and Castro really has only one shot. Try to barehand it and get rid of it quickly. Doesn't happen.
As is customary now, when there's a pinch hitter, we'll see the pitching coach come out and give the word on what's going on. Here comes Chris Bosio for the Cubs. Travis Snyder will hit for Clint Barmas in the 8th spot. And Snyder's come up with a couple of big pinch hits this season. One was against these Cubs on the 21st of May when he hit a pinch hit grand slam, his first career grand slam. And also on the 3rd of September, Snyder had a game-winning pinch hit home run in the 9th inning. That provided the Pirates with their 81st win of the season. Boy, these kids are having a great time, huh? Watching their buckos.
Digging their buckos. Flying their colors.
Two outs, first and third, and Snyder at the plate.
And they've been like this since the anthem.
They have. It has been great. And tomorrow, it'll be just as good, if not better. Tonight, looks like they're going to tie the stadium record for number of sellouts in a season with 19. And tomorrow night, they'll break it. Strike one to Snyder.
And I really don't anticipate anything less on Sunday.
.222 as a pinch hitter. Runners off the corners, 2 down. 0-1 from Villanueva. 1 ball, 1 strike to Snyder.
And Pedro Alvarez is at least a third of the way toward home plate with Balbuena way off third base.
One pitch. 2 balls and a strike.
Really, the one thing we have not seen this season so far is Pedro Alvarez stealing home. Gives you an idea how much room he has.
He's got a lot of room, doesn't he?
Look at this. You know he's got to be tempted. I mean, it's just inside you as a ball player. Nobody's near you like that.
Chavez didn't like that swing. 2-2. Now, if it was McCutchen or Marte, they can get that far off. We might have a steal attempt.
Makes you wonder.
Two and two. Snyder awaits the pitch from Villanueva. Puts it to center field, right at Sweeney. Pirates get a run, 2 hits. There was 1 Cubs error, 2 Pirates left on base. After 6, Pirates 4, Cubs 3. goes 4-0 behind Don Robinson's complete game shutout. He allowed just 4 hits and struck out 8 as he won just his 6th game of the year. John Milner went 3 for 4 for the Pirates and drove in 2 runs. The hitman Mike Easler also hit one out of Olympic Stadium for his 19th home run. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. Listen to that song, Steve.
Yep, the 79 theme song.
Pretty popular song around these parts.
Yep.
Marlon Byrd stays in the game. He'll play right field. And Jordy Mercer is the new shortstop. And the new pitcher. Grill cheese time a little early. Jason Grilli will pitch to start the 7th inning. He will face a pinch hitter, Junior Lake. Lake hitting in the pitcher's spot 9th. Lake's got a 9-game hitting streak. Really making his 49th appearance. The Pirates trying to get him back into more close situations, more situations that he was accustomed to during the course of the early part of the season. And since his return from the disabled list, this is the closest ball game he's been in. A 4-3 Pirate lead in the 7th. Junior Lake, 2 balls, no strikes. Lake started in left field last night. He has been very good for the Cubs, hitting .312 since taking over out there on a regular basis. Swing and a miss. Blake has 62 hits over his first 50 games with the Cubs. He leads all Major League rookies in hits since the All-Star break, and ranks 9th among all National League players since the All-Star break. 2-1 from Grilli. In for a strike, and it's 2-2. Jason Grilli's 2-2 pitch. Right there. Called. Strike 2. Got him with a breaking ball. He froze late and picks up the strikeout.
Does this look familiar? Fastball, fastball. Up. Breaking ball.
One down, base is empty. And back to the top of the Cubs order. Starlin Castro. There's that breaking ball again. He got Castro fishing. 1 for 3. Castro had a base hit in the 5th. And was stranded. No balls and 1 strike to Castro. That's 2. 92 miles an hour on the gun, and Steve, coming back from the forearm problem, really has not had quite his velocity back, but getting close. 0-2. Got it. Strike 3.
I'll tell you one thing. If these guys do as much as sneeze, these people in this ballpark are cheering. They got to just look sideways at somebody, and they go crazy. They're into it. There's a wave.
Really strikes out the first 2 men he sees in the 7th inning. Now he'll face the left-handed hitting third baseman Luis Valbuena. Ball 1 to Valbuena. Cubs and Pirates will be pretty familiar with one another. 3 more games, or 2 more after tonight, but a 4-game series here, then a 3-game series in Chicago on the next road trip. Next year on the 31st of March, opening day against the Cubs here at PNC Park. So we'll see a lot of them.
Anything the Pirates do right now is getting a reaction. It's so great. And when 35, 37, 38,000 people react, it's noisy.
1-1 pitch. Now it's 1-2. See what Grilli does now with Valbuena ahead in the count. He's picked up 2 strikeouts already. Can he get a 3rd?
I'll tell you that there have been some cheers around this ballpark after, of course, the 3 home runs. But if he gets a strike here, strikes out the side, Jason Grilli is a favorite here. You'll hear some noise in this barn.
He is a very popular player among these fans. The tower a little bit. Backed up Valbuena. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Part of life as a major league hitter. Get out of the way.
Not a lot of reaction time, is there?
No, and it makes you think about diving to that outside corner a little bit.
Grilli's 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. He thought he had it.
Oh, did he want that? Did he want that?
Really thought the inning was over.
You'll get that call every once in a while.
Had to put the brakes on and get the ball back.
He's got some happy feet, just like Andrew. A little toe tapping out there. He's got a little bounce in their step.
3-2. Walked him. He loses Valbuena. Tying runs aboard in the 7th for the Cubs. Hurdle will go to the phone. And one thing that's important for Grilli, for him, is to finish an inning. Davies Rojas getting the word. Kirby Andrade, the bullpen catcher, getting his stuff on. Who's getting up? Looks like Vin Mazzaro.
Well, this is a lot about Jason Grilli, but it's more about the Pittsburgh Pirates. So it all fits in, all figures.
Anthony Rizzo will look at a pitch for a ball, 1-0. The last 2 outings for Grilli was not able to finish the inning, so will be taken out. Just an update from St. Louis. Seattle in the 5th inning has taken a 1-0 lead over the Cardinals. A Pirate win and a Cardinal loss tonight puts the Bucs back in first place by themselves. 1-0 to Rizzo. Hammered deep to right field, and this ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Anthony Rizzo. It's now 5-4 Chicago.
Just a matter of whether it's going to be fair, and it was close going down the line. And that 2-out walk. The first walk given up by Grilli in the inning. The second time a walk has come around.
Ball curled behind the pole. That's a fair ball.
That's a great camera shot of it, showing what we did not want to see.
Leon Navarro goes back to the left side and bats with 2 outs and the base is empty, and a new ball game for Chicago. Now with a 5-4 lead. This is from the splash can. Hit that back wall, so stayed in the ballpark.
Of Anthony Rizzo.
22nd home run for Rizzo. RBI 74 and 75 for the Cubs first baseman. Pirates have taken a 4-3 lead in the 6th, and now the Cubs with 2 outs have taken the lead back.
Talk about a fine line to almost getting a call third strike that would have given them 3 strikeouts in the inning, striking out the side. It goes from that to the Pirates losing the lead. That fine a line. And he could have gotten that call. It didn't happen. Doesn't always happen. No guarantees.
One-two pitch to Navarro. Base hit to center. And this is spelling trouble here for Jason Grilli. You got to wonder, with now the go-ahead run scoring and another run on base, if Clint Hurdle's going to come and get him. And Clint Hurdle will indeed come and get him.
2 quick strikeouts, walk, home run, base hit.
This will be the 3rd straight outing for Grilli since coming off the disabled list that he has not been able to finish the inning.
You won't see this very often. He has just given up a home run to give up the lead, but still gets a welcome from the crowd.
standings for now. Zunino's home run in St. Louis might have something to say if the Mariners can pull it off. If the Pirates can come back here now that they're down by a run. Nate Scherholz will face Vin Mazzaro. Strike one. That inning started off so well for Jason Grilli, and
within one pitch of striking out the side.
Yeah.
One pitch.
And the 2-out walk came back to hurt him. Home run by Rizzo. Strike two on 2 foul balls. Vin would like to make this a quick outing for him this inning. Get the Pirates to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Pirates will have the number 9 spot leading off.
He can be the vulture. He's 7-2. This, how about picking up a win like this?
Why not?
Not against the law.
Oh, 2 to Scherholz. Scherholz walked in the 2nd inning and scored the first Cubs run. He's 0 for 2. Struck out, fly to left.
Four of their 5 runs via the home run, and this has been a ball club that has really struggled as a team with their record, but they've had a bunch of home runs. They're close to the top of the National League in terms of team home runs.
Well, they're second. 162 home runs. And this one gets away from Russell Martin down to second. Goes Gianna Navarro. The Atlanta Braves, the only team in the National League with more home runs than the Cubs. They have 166. Well, Navarro 2 for 4 at second base. 2 base hits for him tonight.
I would believe that Russell Martin would tell you, if you asked him right now, that he should have gotten that ball.
To right field. Bird gets a jump on it.
Doesn't hurt.
Anthony Rizzo with the big blow. A 2-run home run off Jason Grilli with 2 outs. 7th inning stretch. The score, the Cubs 5 and the Pirates 4.
For the 7th inning stretch, we invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Out on Federal Street collecting used baseball or baseball equipment collection, and Mercer was there to present a $5,000 check as part of the Baseball Tomorrow Fund to the Pittsburgh RBI program, reviving baseball in the inner cities. And it's a pretty cool thing. Nice season. BTF, Baseball Tomorrow Fund, has combined with Major League Baseball to donate some equipment. And in total, Tim and Steve, which is pretty cool, there's been over $1.5 million in monetary donations and over 100,000 pieces of baseball equipment that have benefited organizations in need with that. So another cool thing that the Pirates and Jordy Mercer were a part of. And a lot of kids going to be able to play the great game of baseball.
Yeah, for Jordy, first year as the BTF ambassador. Baseball Tomorrow Fund. And a great program, the RBI program, certainly.
Justin Grimm coming over from the Texas Rangers in the Garza deal. 4 appearances to this point. Did a good bit of starting for the Rangers.
Mercer leads off. And back to the top of the order, Toppin and Walker.
And Grimm was 7-7 in 17 starts for Texas.
And Jordy hits it to center field. Sweeney drifting back. 1 out. Quick out. Jordy saw a pitch he could drive and tried to give it a ride.
That's the way you should do it. You see something you like, why stick around? Go get it.
Jose Talbot is 1 for 2 with a walk. As a pitcher, how do you feel? You come in the game, you throw a pitch and get that quick out.
Well, you love it, whether you're coming in out of the bullpen or whether you start an inning. Well, they say the first out is half the deal of getting 3. The math doesn't work, but the feel does. You get that first out, you feel like you're halfway home.
Rally caps. Two and 1 to Jose.
Oh, Vernick. A comeback frame of mind here on a Friday night. By the way, Mr. Grimm in 17 starts with Texas gave up 15 home runs. 15 home runs in 17 starts.
To right field, and Sherholtz playing him shallow right there to make the catch, and there are 2 gone. Sundays are kids' days at PNC Park. Make sure to join us this Sunday. Pirates and Cubs at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger take home Starling Marte Fathead Junior wall decals. Thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. For tickets, pirates.com. Be another big day here on Sunday for the kids. Walker takes the ball. Neal without a hit tonight, 0 for 3. Pirates down a run in the bottom of the 7th. Let's have activity. James Russell worked in last night's ball game. He's back up and throwing tonight.
Almost looked like Jeff Samardzija pitching left-handed.
It did, didn't it?
Here, dude.
Put Samardzija in a mirror.
We miss him in this series. He pitched the day before the Cubs got to Pittsburgh, or the day of their arrival. And Jeff, bubblegum looking.
Travis Wood with him. Wood will pitch on Sunday opposite Francisco Liriano. So Walker is issued a base on balls.
What you want to do, pitch around Neil Walker to get in to Andrew McCutchen. Every pitcher's strategy.
Well, McCutchen tonight 2 for 3, single double and a run scored. McCutchen extending his hitting streak to 11 straight tonight. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. Even the out he made in the 4th inning was a rocket hit right to the shortstop Castro. Grimm's pitch in for a strike. 0-1 to Andrew McCutchen. ball one. 1-1.
Staying away from the fastball. A couple of sliders, a couple of breaking balls delivered to Andrew.
457 so far, just about halfway through the month. 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. Follows up a very good month of August for Andrew. 2-1.
Here's the fastball. Andrew seems to do some nice packaging of back-to-back months. Last year, June, July. This year, August, September.
You could rather have August than September, wouldn't you? Hit 384 during August. Since the 30th of April, he's hit a league best 349. Pops this one up. And this one will be caught by Navarro. So we'll head to the 8th inning at PNC Park. Kyle Farnsworth getting ready to go to work. 5-4 Cubs. Their favorite teams during press conference Tuesday on Root Sports. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin takes the podium first, live at noon, followed by Pitt's Paul Christ at 1 and WVU head coach Dana Holgerson at 1:30. Press conference Tuesday starting at noon on Root Sports. Well, then Mazzaro stays on and he will face Ryan Sweeney to start the 8th inning. 5-4 Cubs. 2-run home run by Anthony Rizzo with 2 outs in the 7th off of Jason Grilly has been the difference in the game so far. 1 ball and 1 strike to Sweeney.
Just announced just a little bit shy of 36,000. 35,962. Announced attendance.
Pitch inside. 2-1. Two ball, 1 strike pitch. Foul back 2-2.
Folks here have been sobered somewhat by the Rizzo home run, but there's time.
Just a great look around this beautiful ballpark. People jammed in here. Some nights with a shoehorn. Down the left field line, running for Tabata in the corner. He won't get it. Long foul ball for Sweeney.
And as we mentioned, as Roger Angel has so famously written, there is time because baseball time is measured only in outs. All you have to do is keep hitting, keep the rally alive, and you have defeated time, and you remain forever young. Roger Angel.
On the corner, got it. Sweeney down on strikes.
Paint in the corner.
Sweeney now 1 for 3. Brian Bogusevic. And a 2-run homer in the 4th inning. Get it into the bushes. Hit the letter S in Pirates in the bushes. He's back in the 4th. That gave the Cubs a 3-0 lead. And then the Pirates tied it on back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 4th, with Pedro Alvarez hitting his league-leading 33rd as an inside-the-park home run. Bogusevic, 3 hits in the game, fouls this one off. Well, the last time there was a game with back-to-back home runs, Steve, where one of them was an inside-the-park home run, you have to go back to 1999. Reds and Phillies on the 28th of April. It was that number to 7. Mercer can't make the play. Boots the routine ground ball, and now Bogusevic is aboard.
Again.
Scott Rowland, Rico Bronya, and Ron Gant, the 3 that did it. An error on Jordy Mercer. Each team with an error now. Allegheny Health Network, Supermo slowing it down. See, that ball came up, hit him right on the heel. Might have even gone above the heel a little bit on the wrist. Barney 0 for 3, hitting .212. In the air to right. Marlon Byrd will make the catch. 2 gone for the Cubs. Byrd records the out. Bogusevic at first base with 2 down. And the pinch hitter to face Vin Mazar right now is Donnie Murphy. Murphy started at third base last night and went 0 for 4. He hits a slow tapper to the left side of the infield. Pedro with it. Guns it to first to get him. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. Pirates coming to the plate in the bottom of the 8th, down a run. It's 5-4 game. Anthony Rizzo's 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 7th off Jason Grilli standing up so far. Pirates running out of outs. We get late in the ball game. Justin Morneau will lead things off. Pedro Alvarez and Russell Martin. And this is the time of the game where Starling Marte gets loosened up in case the Pirates need a pinch runner. Pedro Strop started the year with the Orioles, now with the Cubs, makes his 30th appearance this year.
Yep, a lot better with the Cubbies than he fared with the Orioles when he had an ERA of about 7. It's gotten better here. And you like to do your work against him. Mr. Greg, closer for the Cubs.
Strike 1 to Morneau. 0 for 3 tonight. Average 263. 0-1 pitch. Watch out. Jay Bell had to look for cover. Ball gets over there in a hurry.
Yeah, that late on it.
Still 0-2 to Justin Morneau. Justin struck out of the first, grounded out on a 12-pitch at bat in the 4th, and then popped up to the pitcher, Brooks Raley, in the 6th.
There you go.
Time off of work, and that's going to be strike 3. Navarro's got to throw it down. Morneau now 0 for 4. 2 strikeouts tonight. Kiss that job goodbye.
The gunner. Bucko fan, that's serious. Got his jacket on, he's got a sign ready.
Well, you worked with the gunner, you know he said a lot of things.
Oh yeah, yep. I need a bloop and a blast now. BLAST.
Pedro 1 for 3.
Do it again, Pedro.
Strike 1.
Mr. Strop getting it to home plate at 96 miles an hour. Lord knows how fast he could throw if he had his hats down straight. Don't you just want to go out and say, just move the hat over a little bit so everything lines up.
Alvarez ground ball into center field, a base hit. And Pedro is aboard with a tying run.
Once again, they've got a shift on, but if you hit it hard enough, the shift works if it's right at somebody. That wasn't too far out of the reach of Castro, but it was hit hard enough where it got by him. I love that camera shot of the ball coming right at you. There was a Morneau base hit in the Texas series that came at you that way out of the camera. It's great.
2 hits tonight for Alvarez. And here comes Josh Harrison. He'll run for Pedro. Jay comes on to pinch run. He represents the game's tying run. Ben Hurdle going with a pinch runner and not Marte here, but putting in Harrison, who can also come in and play third base.
They better keep an eye on him at first base.
And Russell Martin will take a strike. Off-speed pitch from Pedro Strop. Strop from San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. Russell's 1 for 3 tonight with a home run. Outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 8th inning, Bucks down a run. Trying to tie it up. Harrison off of first. Martin fouls this one back, 1-2. Go back to the 4th inning after Alvarez had just electrified the crowd with an inside the park home run. Russell didn't wait very long. Very early in the at bat, he launched it out of here for home run number 14. Made it a 1-run game at that point. Cubs were leading 3-2, and then Jones hit one after him to make it 3-3. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Schofield over with a word to Josh Harrison at first base. Won't be prompting anything. Decent lead for Josh.
Pulls this one down the left field line, and it's going to hook. Martin has faced Stroke just a couple of times in his career. He's 2 for 3 against him. Two pitch to the Pirate catcher. Struck him out. 2 men out for the Pirates. Strope has struck out 2 this inning. Along with Steve Blass and Robbie Innsmoukowski, I'm Tim Neverett. 5 runs on 8 hits and an error for the Cubs. 4 runs on 8 hits and an error for the Pirates. Brian Bogusevic 3 for 4, a 2-run homer. Jake Arrieta went 5 tonight. Pirates had 3 home runs in a row in the 4th inning. Charlie Morton started, went 5. Gave up 3 earned runs. He'll have a no decision. And at the plate right now is Marlon Byrd, looking to do some damage. And a pinch hit base hit in the 6th inning. Byrd 1 for 1. Stayed in the game and played right field. The bird watchers are here.
Bird number 2.
The ornithologists. Came from the aviary just down the street. So Bird waits, and here's the pitch from Pedro Strop. Strike 1.
97.
Extended his hitting streak from 4 games to 5 with the pinch hit single in the 6th. A lot of room on the right side for him. Harrison off of first, and the pitch. Ground ball to the right side, but Darwin Barney's going to get to it. Fires on to first base. And we're headed to the 9th inning. Cubs up 5-4. Jeff Baker will make his second start for the Cubs, opposing Garrett Cole. Garrett looking to replicate his great outing in Texas when he struck out 9 in 7 shutout innings. And Sunday, Travis Wood goes for the Cubs. He's 9-11, but he's got a low ERA, just a little over 3. And for the Pirates, it'll be Francisco Liriano, who is looking for win number 17, an ERA of 2.92. That's your Nissan road ahead. There's Francisco. Head to Sunday. 5-4. Comes with a lead. Pirates are going to have to bat in the bottom of the 9th tonight. Josh Harrison stays in to play third base. And doing the pitching now, Kyle Farnsworth making his 5th appearance. Farnsworth's last appearance was a save in Texas on Wednesday. His first save since the 2011 season when he was with Tampa Bay. Farnsworth will face the top of the order. Castro, Valbuena, and Rizzo. Well, Farnsworth wants to hang his 0, and the Pirates will have the bottom part of the order up, but find a way to get at least one in the bottom of the 9th. You never know who you're going to see out on the Clemente Bridge. Is he juggling too?
Phantom juggler.
Yeah, that's the Birdman.
Well, we got Parrot. We got all kind of.
We've seen the Birdman a little more often lately. He's got to wait till the sun goes down before he can be seen. Strike one to Castro. 1 for 4 tonight for the Cubs shortstop. Nothing in 2. We're looking at Farnsworth saves for Wednesday's game. We were told he was going to be the closer with both Melanson and Grilli unavailable because of long work the night before. Well, he had 25 saves for Tampa Bay in 2011. A little bit low to Castro, 1 and 2.
A lot of stops along the way for Kyle Farnsworth, including one in Chicago with the Cubbies.
Started there in 1999, was there until 2004.
That's when he was throwing around 100 miles an hour.
Miles an hour for Farnsworth there. He's also pitched for Detroit on 2 different occasions. The Atlanta Braves on 2 different occasions. He's been with the Yankees. He spent a couple of seasons in Kansas City. Season and a half in Kansas City. Ground ball to short. Mercer rifles it to first. 1 out. Castro is out. He's now 1 for 5. Farnsworth will now face the left-handed hitting third baseman Luis Valbuena. Valbuena is 0 for 2. He's flied twice to center field and he's walked twice and scored once. He scored the tying run on the 2-run home run hit by Anthony Rizzo, and he was walked with 2 outs by Grilli in the 7th.
By the way, a final, the Nationals keep it going 7 in a row now. Ross Ohlendorf improves to 4-0 as they beat the Phils 6-1. They keep pace.
Steven Strasburg was a scratch today. He was supposed to start. The report out of Washington was he had some forearm tightness.
Worked all right for his replacement.
Yeah. Well, Ross Ohlendorf smart enough. He figured it out. Princeton grad. Ross has had a good opportunity there in Washington this year. One ball, one strike pitch by Farnsworth is pulled up the right side. Foul, 1-2. Extra effort got him a foul ball. They don't want to be seen with him. You got front row seats. You don't want to do that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two to Valbuena. 1 out, base is empty. Top of the 9th inning, comes up by a run. You mentioned Washington winning, Steve. In the top of the 7th in Milwaukee, the Brewers have a 3-1 lead over Cincinnati. And in the bottom of the 7th in St. Louis, it's still 1-0. Seattle leading the Cardinals.
That game moving along.
Well, Mike Zunino, a solo home run earlier in the ball game. It's standing up so far. Full count to Valbuena. And on deck,
the villain.
Public enemy number 1, Anthony Rizzo. Farnsworth getting the sign from Russell Martin. And the payoff. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 men gone for the Cubs in the 9th. Put this in a good spot.
Went away from the fastball, down and in. Nice when you can throw a perfecta in a 3-2 full count situation.
Sign of a confident pitcher. Pirates will shift for Rizzo with Neil Walker playing short right field. And Mercer will stay on the shortstop side with the third baseman Harrison moving over to the other side of second base. Base hit for Rizzo.
Just not quite playing high enough.
2-out single.
Rizzo might be coming out of the doldrums. He was struggling coming into the series. Right up in that hot hitting area. See a pitch that's located in that part of the grid. Chances are somebody's going to put a good swing on it.
Deanna Navarro has a couple of hits, 2 for 4 tonight. His average up over 300 at 306. Strike call to Navarro. Well, the Pirates having the 8th spot leading off. And then Mercer, Tabata, Walker, McCutchen after that. If they get to McCutchen, you got to like their chances. Opportunity tonight for the Pirates. Play right down to the last out. Comes the 0-1. Now it's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Deanna Navarro. comebacker. Farnsworth underhands it to first for the third out. Nothing across, one hit, one left. Last laps for the Pirates as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Cubs 5, Bucks 4. Here, all kinds of flags waved around as the Pirates are looking for at least one run. 2 would win it. They'll have to face the closer for the Cubs. A 5-4 ball game. Cubs in front by a run. Bucks trying to come back.
Kevin Gregg, closer for the Cubs, checks in with 31 so far this year. Best season 3 years ago with the Toronto Blue Jays when he saved 37. Career-wise, 175 saves.
He is the 11th pitcher all-time to reach the 30 save mark in a season for the Cubs, and the first since Carlos Marmol had 34 in 2011. Gabby Sanchez will face him. First ball swinging, he pops it up. And just like that, there's one out in the bottom of the ninth. Gabby'd like that one back.
And you always get the argument there. Yep, he popped up on the first pitch. Should have waited around. Meanwhile, take a swing at the first pitch and get a base hit. Everybody's cheering.
Jordy Mercer has had one plate appearance, 0 for 1. He flied out to center field. He had a similar at bat in the 7th inning. First pitch swinging, flying out to slight left center field. Gregg's 0-1 pick. Ground ball right back to him. And the Pirates are running out of outs quickly. They've got one more remaining. Looking a little disappointed right now. Pirates still have an out to go. If Jose Tabata can do something. Ball 1 to Tabata. Think about this, Steve. Gregg with 31 saves. The Cubs have 62 wins. He has saved half of their wins. Not start the year with the club. Joined the Cubs on the 16th of April. first save later that week against Cincinnati. Tabata off the glove of Gregg. Castro to first, safe at first base, and the Pirates still with a pulse.
Didn't know what to cheer for. Thought the ball might go up the middle and get into center field if Gregg didn't get a piece of it. Got a piece of it, he almost got it, and took enough off it to make the play very difficult at first base. Pirates have a pulse.
And now Tabata will come out. Starling Marte will pinch run for him. Marte with 36 stolen bases and caught 14 times.
There we mentioned that Gregg has given up 5 home runs.
Walker is 0 for 3 with a walk. Go to first, Marte back. Tying runs on board in the 9th.
Traditionally, closers don't have exceptional moves. There's a good headline for you.
Ball 1 to Neal.
Neal, let's find a corner. Let the ball bounce around a little bit. Turn Marte loose on the bases.
Walker hits this one to center field and deep. Going back and caught at the wall by Sweeney, and that ends the ball game. Walker tried to walk it off, but Sweeney caught up with it against the wall. Kevin Gregg, his 32nd save. And the Pirates drop this game tonight by a run, 5-4. Anthony Rizzo is our Honda player of the game. A go-ahead 2-run home run in the 7th off of Jason Grilli. After Grilli had struck out the first 2 men, then he walked a guy, and that was Valbuena. And Rizzo hit it out to right field. And that provided the margin of victory. Well, Walker gave this one a ride, but the ballpark held it.
Wrong direction. Everything else is enough. Kind of a theme for the Pirates tonight. They hit a lot of balls hard, but that doesn't matter. They've got a